Hi everyone. Today I'll be talking about study permit refusals, why they happen, and what you can do about it if you encounter a refusal for a study permit application. My name is Jade Calver. I own and operate Calver Immigration Consulting Inc. We're a full-service immigration firm located in Ontario, Canada. So study permit applications are required for those who have been accepted to study to a program of study at an institution in Canada. So whether you're coming to Canada at the elementary or high school level or post-secondary, so college or university, you 9 times out of 10 will need a study permit to come and study in Canada. However, the study permit application process can be challenging, especially for those who may encounter some higher risk factors. So if you're older or if you've already studied previously, and especially in a different category, there are some hurdles to overcome when applying for a study permit. One of the major issues that we see with study permit applications is that people don't include enough information with their initial study permit application. One of the biggest reasons for refusal, so number one, are financials. So do you have enough money to come to Canada and pay for studies as well as afford to live in Canada? So Immigration Canada has very specific information about what you need to include when you're including proof of financials. So you need to be able to show that you can afford the entire first year's tuition plus $10,000 for one student alone, and add $3,000 for each family member who is coming with you. The reason that we see refusals based on financial ability is often because people just haven't included enough financial information. They also often won't pay enough of the tuition up front. So generally we like to see that you're paying tuition for the entire year and that you have the $10,000 plus. I also like to include information on what are the additional sources of funding for you as a student. So if you're younger, do you have some parents who can support you? If you're a little bit older, maybe you have savings, maybe you have property, maybe you have siblings with steady income who are supporting your studies. All of these come together to help really back up that financial status in a study permit application. The second biggest reason that we see study permits refused are a result of the person's intent, the purpose of their study. So all too often people will enroll in colleges or university in Canada just for the purpose of immigration, which is not acceptable when it comes to a study permit application. So when you're applying to your college or university, keep in mind, does this make sense with my overall career goals? This is really entrenched in the study plan that you'll need to submit with an application, which I'll get to in a minute. But overall, you need to, first of all, when you're applying to colleges or universities, think about the program of study and what you've done previously. Does this program and level of study make sense? Have you maybe already applied for something similar in the past and completed it? Does this give you new information that will help you in your career? All of this needs to make sense and be logical to the immigration officer who's reviewing your application. Next reason that we see for study permit refusals are your lack of ties to your home country. So this is really the officer saying, we don't think that you're likely to return to your home country at the end of your stay. So in this case, the officer is looking at your family in your home country, your travel history, your financial assets and stability, your immigration status, and your country of residence. If your study permit, they're asking the question, if you come on a study permit, convert to a work permit, and it doesn't work out for permanent residency, are you likely to return home at the end of your authorized stay? So a lot of our clients, if they do it themselves, they'll submit a study permit application and they don't include any of this evidence, which gives the officer reason to refuse the application. So it's really important that you include these ties to your home country. And remember, it's your home country, not your country of residence, in the application to show what you have in your home country to go back to. Lastly, I think the biggest reason for study permit refusals are a weak study plan. So a lot of our clients, when they take a first shot at a study plan, they will write very little information and it's not logical to the officer. This study plan is carefully reviewed by the officer and they want to know exactly why are you pursuing this program of study, what are your overall career goals, and this study plan has to have the goal of you leaving Canada at the end of your stay. So you cannot say, I'm coming to study in Canada and then I'm going to live here and that's the end. No, again, remember this is a temporary entry, so you have to have overall career goals outside of Canada, often linking to these potential jobs that you could have in your home country and how it will increase your standard of living from what it is now is really crucial. This is, again, less important if you're younger, maybe just out of high school. This becomes extremely crucial when you're in your 30s, 40s, even 50s and applying for a study permit. What do you have in your home country and what are your career goals, and why specifically did you choose Canada over programs in your country of residence to come and study? Because they want to know that your purpose of travel is study and not to eventually immigrate, even if that might be an option for you eventually. At the moment, study permit applications, I get a lot of questions about how long is it going to take. So we're in summer 2022. It's taking about 13 weeks to process regular applications. If you're from specific countries, so from India, for example, you are able to enjoy the benefits of the student direct stream. So that's where applicants have met certain requirements can get 2-week study permit processing. So if you're a resident of the SDS eligible countries, please do use the program. In the case of a refusal, so if you do have a study permit refusal, a lot of clients say, Jade, what do I do next? Whether it's from ours, we see it sometimes in our practice, or sometimes they're coming to us, they've done it themselves or through another firm and they have a refusal. So I always say, try once again at least and try to beef up your application. So all of those points of refusal that I touched on, really address those reasons for refusal in your new submission and address them and address the officer and how you are overcoming those reasons for a refusal. And then there's also reconsideration. So anytime you have a refusal with IRCC, you can write to the program officer for reconsideration. This is an informal process and it takes about 2 months. You have to show that the officer erred in his or her application of the law or interpretation of the facts. So these are a little bit hard to get a program manager to actually entertain, but it can be done. And lastly, the last recourse for a refusal is applying for leave for judicial review. So this is where you're trying to appeal the decision to federal court. Once again, you have to show that there was some sort of error made by the visa office and there should have been an approval in your case. So this would be done through a lawyer and you would work with them to appeal the case through to federal court. So that's all of my tips and tricks for avoiding study permit refusals, why they happen, and what you can do about a study permit refusal if it does happen. If you have any questions about this process, please get in touch. We are online at calverimmigrationservices.com.